So TradingView allows us to really customize our charts in any way we wish to. And the best thing is, if you are unsure of what you're doing, you can always just reset and undo one of your mistakes or any customizations that you don't like. And one of TradingView's most valuable tools is the drawing tools found in this left side of your screen. So this is our drawing tool method, or our drawing tool menu. And we'll see a lot of different customization options. As we see here, when my mouse is moving across the chart, it's a cross. Now, if I don't want that, I can select dot. I can have it just be a dot if I so choose. And this is just different options if you want it to remain an arrow or maybe some sort of eraser. I prefer the cross. That's just my preference. Now, below that, you're going to see many different options for drawing tools. So this is the first option you'll see is the trend line tool. And to the right of each one of these icons, you'll see a little arrow. You can select that arrow and a drop-down menu will appear with a variety of different drawing tools. So in case I want to draw a trend line, if you're not sure what a trend line is, please make sure to see our section on trend lines and overall trends on drawing tools in a future lesson. So let's say if I wanted to draw a trend line, I could do so here. I can also change the color of the trend line. If I want to color code different trends, maybe bigger trends or trends on a larger scale, maybe some sort of daily trend, I would color code one color, maybe like a smaller trend, maybe on like the 15-minute chart. I can color code that a different color, so that way I don't get confused with the different trends I'm seeing. I can also change the size of the trend line itself if I wanted to have it a solid line or maybe some sort of dashed line or a dotted line. And there's a lot of different options. You can also, if you want to extend the line all the way or extend the line either way, or maybe if you want to indicate some sort of middle point, show the price range as well. Beyond that, that's trend lines. There's arrows, rays, extended lines, different horizontal lines that you could place. This is useful for indicating levels of support and resistance, which we'll talk about in a future lesson. So these are all valuable tools that we will get very accustomed to as we learn to chart various assets. And once again, in case you drop something in there that you didn't like, you can always hit the undo button, or you can click on the indicator or the drawing and just either hit delete or select the remove option, little trash can. And even before even doing that, there's also an option to lock this. So in case you want to delete everything else or you don't want to move it around, you can lock it so it stays in place. But for our purposes, we're not going to have a trend line here, so we'll just delete that. And there's a lot of different options, Fibonacci retracement levels and Fibonacci channels. We'll talk about Fibonacci in our advanced charting lesson coming up soon. Different drawing options in terms of brushes and highlighters. This is great if you want to indicate something that you're charting out. If you want to pinpoint an idea, if you want to express an idea maybe on Twitter, or if you want to share it to a friend and you want to pinpoint, hey, look at Bitcoin's price action, or look at this particular pattern. Once again, you can change the colors, you can change the width of the marker itself. In case you want to have maybe a more perfect, a much more uniform indication. There's rectangles that you can put into place there, and once again you can color code them, change the outline. Same thing with eclipses, different curves or different kinds of shapes that you want to indicate and show off what's going on the chart. And these are all useful for helping you focus in on what is actually happening on the chart. if you want to be able to analyze what Bitcoin's doing, and not only analyze it for your own purposes, but to express it to maybe a friend or a colleague or on social media and show what you're looking at, really show off your idea. The next thing we'll see below that are different ideas. So you'll also see text if you want to drop in text, arrows, different call out ideas. So this is useful, like saying if you would like to add text to a specific part of the chart, you can drop in a call out, and with this option you'll be able to type in look at BTC possible bottom. And same thing here, you can change the color, you can change the border, but this is once again another useful tool for helping you analyze an asset, and not only analyze it for your own purposes, but to share and express your trading ideas. Looking below that, various options, price balloons, more Elliott wave impulses. We'll talk about Elliott waves in a future lesson, different types of patterns. These are things that you don't necessarily have to use, all these different options, but it's good to be aware that, hey, it's there in case I want to experiment and try things out. And, you know, you might find something that you didn't know in one of these menus that you might like to use, right? In the worst case scenario, you add something to your chart. Worst case scenario, you can always just delete it, and now your chart is back to normal. Now, one of the most useful tools that TradingView has on this left side is the measurement tool. So in case, let's say Bitcoin moved all the way from around $29,500 per Bitcoin in late July 2021, and shot up all the way to September 6th to about 52,000. I'd like to measure how big of a price move up or down this is, and not have to break out my calculator to see how big of a jump that was, what kind of percentage move that was. I can actually use this measuring tool and select the bottom of one of these candles, or my starting point essentially. So we'll say around there, around 29.2, and I can move my cursor to where I would like it to end. So where I am measuring from my start point to my end point. Once I drop this measurement icon, now I can start to see not only the difference in the price. So this is a $23,000 change in price from 29 to 52,000. It was an 80% increase. We also see it was over the course of 48 bars, which in this case was 48 days. And we can also measure the volume over that course of that time. So it's a pretty useful tool. It works not only going up, but coming down as well. So let's say if we wanted to measure Bitcoin from around 69,000 on November 10th, and we want to measure it all the way to its most recent point of about 39,000 on January 10th, 2022, give or take. That was about a 41.95% drop. So as we see, a negative price change or a price decrease will be represented in red, whereas a positive price increase will be represented in blue. This is something that, once again, you can change in the options as well. Below that, here we see a zoom in feature. So, I mean, you could use the zoom in feature. You can also just use your mouse wheel to scroll in and out. Below that is a magnet tool. And this is something that I have grown particularly fond of. So instead of having to really measure and be accurate with your mouse, you can select the magnet tool and put on a weak magnet. And now, let's say if I want to use my measuring tool, my cursor will automatically lock in to the nearest open, close, the high wick and the low wick of each candle. So instead of having to measure, I have to measure exactly at $42,333, I can just turn on that magnet tool, and as you can see, the cursor is automatically locking on to the bottom part of each one of these candles. and I can use the measuring tool from there. And the same thing with drawing tools as well. So if I wanted to add in some sort of horizontal line to indicate maybe a top for Bitcoin or maybe a bottom for Bitcoin, the cursor will automatically lock into that bottom part of the candle, and I can just click and drop it there. It makes charting a ton easier, something that I highly suggest that you experiment with. And it's easy to turn it on and off as well. Here you see an option to stay in drawing mode or to lock all drawings. You can hide all drawings. So let's say I drew something here. Here's my brush. Let's say I draw something like that. I can hide all drawings and then opt to show them again. And here is a garbage can that actually allows you to remove all drawings, remove all indicators, and remove all drawings and indicators all at once.